535 votes in favor of Roland Jahn.
This gives me a feeling of gratification, because I went through a lot in East Germany. The East German secret police, the Stasi, had a very negative effect on my life. So to be chosen by the German Bundestag to head the Stasi archives is a terrific thing.
Roland Jahn is a 57-year-old television journalist. As a dissident in communist East Germany, he was persecuted and imprisoned. Now he's to succeed Marianne Birtler as the custodian of the Stasi records.
This is a signal that the work of studying the East German dictatorship will go on. As the federal commissioner, I see myself mainly as an advocate for the victims.
The Stasi meticulously gathered vast amounts of personal information about its victims. The files bear witness to an apparatus of repression, and it did its best to repress Roland Jahn. His hometown of Jena in Thüringen was a major industrial city in the 1970s, full of young workers and students. A strong opposition movement grew up here. Jahn openly criticized the authoritarian regime. He was thrown out of the university and jailed as an agitator. But he persisted in his protests. Associates from that time recall his sense of purpose.
He was always reliable, and that's a very important quality, especially when you're politically active. Unreliable people are always a problem. Roland was never a problem. He was always a very good partner.
But Jahn was a problem for the state. In 1983, the Stasi deported him, sending him off in chains on a train to West Germany. After his forced extradition, he had to struggle to start over in West Berlin.
I realized what it meant to lose one's country. And when I spoke to my mother on the phone and she said, "They've taken our son away from us," I realized that life on the other side of the wall in the West was just half freedom. As long as that wall was still standing, I was unfree in the West as well.
As a TV journalist, Jahn worked to bring about the fall of the East German regime. In 1989, he managed to smuggle cameras to colleagues in the East. He obtained the first secretly filmed pictures of anti-government demonstrations there. Those images helped to bring down the Berlin Wall. After the collapse of East Germany, Jahn hunted down Stasi officers still occupying posts in government offices. Here he confronted a former Stasi operative about his past. Yes, the man took part, but said it was over now.
Of course, I feel a personal involvement, in part through reading my own Stasi file. But I also feel that it's over. They can no longer do what they did to break us down. I have the files in my hand now. These are documents that will help us shed light on what happened.
But there's debate over how that should take place. Jahn's East-West credentials have earned him support from lawmakers across the political spectrum, including Chancellor Angela Merkel. But it will be hard to push through his ideas in a government agency with 1,800 employees and lots of red tape. Some critics say the Stasi archives should become more service-oriented. They want the files to be evaluated more professionally to improve the agency's public image.
It's a difficult legacy. The agency was and continues to be controversial in the way it works. It's a difficult legacy because it must look at aspects of the dictatorship beyond the Stasi and not neglect the importance of the Communist Party.
Jahn is willing to take up that challenge. In future, he says, the role of the Stasi must no longer be reduced to a mere victim-perpetrator conflict. Everyone should ask themselves how they collaborated under the East German regime and today.
No one has an obligation to resist. We have a right to conform, but I want people to admit that they conformed and to explain to me why they conformed. That's the only way we'll ever understand how the system functioned.
Jahn says freedom and democracy can only survive when it's clear why people submitted to decades of repression. His tenure as the custodian of the Stasi archives begins in March.